Kieran, thank you for talking to us. Unfortunately, starting with an injury question, how is Marcus?
Yeah, he's not great, but much better than we feared it might have been. So he's going to have a surgery tomorrow on his meniscus with a time period yet to be defined until after the injury, but much less than what we first feared. We feared after the game that with the mechanism of the injury that it could have been, a really serious one that could have ruled him out for the season, and it's thankfully nowhere near that at the moment. So that's the positive, and we look forward to having him back because he's been fantastic for us all season. Was terrific last time out against Exeter, and unfortunate timing for him, but we know he'll come back strong.
That is really nice to hear that he'll be back sooner than expected. What's the situation with Janoy Danasi and Freddie Ladapo, and also Connor Chaplin was out of Tuesday's game as well?
Yeah, Connor and Leaf have trained today, so should be in the squad for Saturday. Janoy and Freddie will need a little bit more time.
Any particular time frame on them, boss, or still TBC?
No, nothing serious with either, but unlikely at this stage to be involved with, of course, the focus at the moment of not taking, which we wouldn't do anyway, but not taking any risks and recovering as many bodies as we can towards the game against Fleetwood on next Friday. Yeah. Those two boys will not be involved this weekend, most likely.
Of course, it feels like reeling those names off, but it is important to recognise as well that Greg Lee's coming back, Ghassan Ahadme's coming back, Sonny Aluko hopefully not too far away. Is there any update on those? Obviously, we did see Greg on Tuesday.
Yeah, and Cow back from the midweek game as well, which is a bonus. So no, Sonny's doing really well, ahead of schedule. Not quite sure how far ahead yet, but he's ahead of schedule for the New Year's sort of return. He could be a bit ahead of that at the moment, which is good. And Ghassan and Greg are full training and training well, and back in and around the group. Lee Evans still a few weeks behind that, but he's working in the gym now, going to be out on the pitch soon. And all in all, there's some bodies that are getting closer to being fit, and the boys who are out there are working ever so hard and are going to be ready for each game, I've got no doubt.
And on this weekend, when you first learned that it was Buxton, you said it's a lovely area. What do you expect from them as a team?
Yeah, of course, we've watched their games. They've done really well to get to this round. I think they got to this round again last year as well, and got beat by Morecambe. So they've got good recent pedigree in the competition, and they're a well organised team. I have to say we've of course watched them as we do for every opponent, and good structure in and out of possession. So sometimes back four, sometimes back five, but always looking well balanced and well coached. So. Of course, it's a game that we're expected to win. Of course, it's a game that we're going to have the majority of the play, and the challenge is going to be breaking down the opponent and not giving out anything on the other end. So it's a good challenge for us, and we look forward to the game.
It was obviously similar against Bracknell in the first round, but what are the differences now that this game's at Portman Road?
Of course, it doesn't make it any easier. But it makes it more familiar. You don't have to, contend with a new pitch, new dressing room, new club that you don't know anything about, new travel and place that none of the players have been to. The conditions are familiar, but it doesn't make it any guarantee that it's any easier, because Bracknell, came and played on the front foot and tried to press us high up the pitch, which of course is then going to bring fatigue into them in the second half, and spaces are going to open up, and Buxton might choose to do it in a different way. But we have lots of experience at that. We have Bracknell, we have Portsmouth from the other night, and we have Buxton this weekend. So we have good experience of teams setting up in that way, and it's a challenge that we're well used to.
Is it worth noting as well that the manager of Buxton, Jamie Vermiglio, if I've pronounced his name correctly, he obviously has been involved in a cup upset beating Derby, so they do have experience in this competition.
Yeah. And I say he's done a good job with the team at the moment, because you can see that they're well organised. So look, they have players with Football League experience, players with promotion experience and good cup runs, and it's a big day out for them and a good game for them, and I'm sure they'll want to cause an upset. So we hope they enjoy their day. Of course, Tommy Miller as well, coming back to his old club as assistant, which is nice. But our focus needs to be on us. We know what the challenge is going to be. We know we need to be mentally right. We know we're going to have to face a stubborn opponent, and we'll just prepare as well as we can and be ready for the challenge coming up.
Finally, it was a sad day in the week, losing David Johnson, a legend of the club, and of course represented England as well. But the club will be paying tribute to him this weekend.
Yeah, and rightfully so. So it would be nice to be able to do that on Sunday. Of course, a great player for the club and a big part of the club's history, and it would be nice to pay the respects on Sunday.